Hello everyone, welcome to my channel again. Today I'm going to share with you one of the projects I have worked and got some satisfactory results. So basically this project can be implemented for many user cases. For example, if you want to get multiple PDF from the website and summarize the data and get some insights from it. So basically, this data I'm going to access is the Bank of Italy anti-money laundering sanction data I got from the Bank of Italy website, and I'm going to use the code, the code I write with GPT to actually, first of all, to save the PDF information to a CSV file. Of course, you can choose to save to CSV or JSON. It's up to you. And I'm going to process this data, get some numerical insights from the data. Because usually if you want to clean up the data, it will take many mundane process. So I wanted to do the text searching, but eventually I think maybe the local LLM is faster and more straightforward. Then you can see here in the first version, I did first of all the analysis without date, because I forgot one of the important components of the data is to understand which date one entity is sanctioned. So later I did another round of the coding and with date. Okay, so just to let you know, because the first attempt to try these codes, I always miss something. So I will add that missing piece to the next part. The final part is called option of text searching. I'm saving this as a placeholder, so in the future I can compare the text searching with the LLM model to compare which one is better. However, at this moment, I think because my coding background is not so solid, so if I'm going to implement a very robust text searching algorithm to find patterns, it will take a lot of time. So today I'm going to go over the project with you. Okay, let's check the code. First of all, I'm going to get the data from this website. Basically, if you go to this web page, you are going to see there are some introduction and also a list of the PDF, all the links you can download. Okay, so basically in this part of the code, I'm going to use some, I think this is a traditional way to scrap the information from the website. And these I have done 2 or 3 iterations with GPT and also modify some of the components to make sure it works. And of course, I have also some of the manual adjustments. For example, like here, the pages of the website, I assume it has 19 pages. Okay, but this one, usually I would recommend to check the HTML file, check the website to understand which is the range, because making it too small or too large does not make sense and also can intrigue some of the errors of the code. In the end, this code will actually make sure all the information is properly stored in the CSV file. I'm going to show you quickly the CSV file. Is like this. Okay, usually it has the URL, it has also the text information from the PDF, and this will be the base for us to process. So then let's come here. Okay, so here actually I'm implementing the local LLM. I did download some of the LLM models to my LLM studio in local environment, so I can use this code to access that model. And more precisely, this will do the feeding of the information to the model and get a response. So I think the most important part is about, first of all, set the local server address, and then extract the sanction information based on this part, this function. So basically, this function is going to intrigue this chat mode with the model. Okay, so I have my prompt information here to get concise, structured information, and okay, I also said the maximum token is 200 because I don't want it to be too long. Sometimes if you don't set a limit, the model will go on forever and cost a lot of compute, and you are going to wait a lot of time. So, and then here, this is a part of the function that actually gets precisely this information. Okay, so after running it, we can see here is a data frame which we have we have partially the information. So what's the problem of it? If you expand the text content, yes, you can get the text content. You can understand it's a very long document. The sanction information, well, it can get some of the information, but it is not well structured. So you cannot easily process in the next step. So in order to separate the sanction info, I need to do more work. So in the next part, I repeat. Okay, I repeat all the algorithm. Actually, I make sure. Of course, I work with GPT to refine this part of the code to actually make sure it will separate the information to the data frame with separate column. Yeah, you can see here. Yes, we have separated them to sanction entity, amount, and also the reason. Of course, you can see here there are not many, not 100% accurate, because you can see here some empty space and some zero amount. So there are some potential problems about the quality of the extraction or the data cleaning. Okay, but at least at this step, we can get the different column, and we can further refine based on it. If you want to check any detail of the code, please pause. Then I actually did the refine and also add the data in the next step. So here, I actually copy the output of the code to GPT to actually let it understand what are the tasks I need to do, especially about the data cleaning. For example, the amount number, most of them are not regular. For example, the punctuation, like the separator of the thousand number, 30, in Europe and in USA and in China are totally different. So I iterate several steps to get this part of the function to let the code to clean the data. And I refined my prompt. You can see now my prompt is very well structured, much better than the previous one. Previous one is just one sentence to ask it to get concise information and so on. But now I have different bullet points to let the LLM to get me these information. And about the maximum token, because as a rule of thumb, I tested and tried and saw the maximum token should not surpass 100. So this will speed up my processing time. Okay, so in the process text data part, of course, I iterate several times with the GPT to actually make it more robust, because during the testing, this kind of code actually take a lot of time to get the right information you want. So after doing all these improvements, we can see the result. You can see it's much better, because at least you see okay, at the first, let me show you. First, this is showing that the information is passed, which information is passed to the local LLM, and there are some ID, blah blah blah, different information about this instance, and then this is the extracted information, and I think it's pretty good. Okay, this you can, in this way you can check the process. Of course, in your LLM Studio, you can always check the real-time processing of this data. So I'm just going to save your time, because how to set up the LLM Studio is quite easy. You just open it, choose a model, open the server, then you can use your code here to link to the local LLM Studio. So these information are passed to the system and get feedback. But you can see here, like this one, the model is hallucinating. Okay, so after passing the text data to get the feedback, okay, and also more structured data feedback, in the end, we have a very structured data frame, and you can see just from the displayed part, you can see the accuracy improves a lot. And I make a note. It took about 24 seconds for processing 10 records, because at first I actually limit the page searching to one page of the Bank of Italy website. So more or less it got 10 records. And I used this stable code instructor 3B model, and it took 24 seconds. My suggestion is to always choose a lightweight model to quickly test your code and try other models, because I believe most of the listeners do not have a very big machine. So our resource is limited. So let's see how I get the dynamic scatter plot. For this code, I mean GPT can generate like a super fast and very accurate. I think from here I can see a different entity. You can also see the size of the circle to show the amount is quite okay. I think it's very useful for the data visualization. But you can see here some entities have very lousy code, is not accurate. And you can also see some of the sentence. Let me try to check some to you. For example, like this one, because of some of the sanction is to person. So if I want to see the aggregation or to an entity, this data has some noises. Like I do not want to see how much one single person is fined, is penalized. So this just to show you there are some limitations at this point. Then I choose different visualization. You can see that the package I used is Plotly. It's very useful, and you can see all the data, and of course you can zoom in and zoom out. So I also did the yearly trend data. Yeah, it's okay. So basically, I think by here I already finished the first version. The reason I do not focus on the different visualization part is because the package is standard. You can try anytime you want. Yeah, but from here you can see some of the entity name is very strange. Like this one, I believe it is not complete, or it may even be error. So how do I get to the next step? The next step, I wanted to try a different model. So, and also I tried to save the data to JSON file. I did save to JSON file, but I do not find any particular advantage. So eventually I switch back to save to CSV. Okay, the CSV is like before. And in this version, this part is the same. Yeah, until here, yeah. So the same as before. The improvement is in this part. First of all, I get more structured prompts. And you see here, let's see this one. I believe I have done some improvements. Like here, my prompt is about this speak. And here more robust, I think. Because now I want to assign a category. Because I want to see, because I know the reason can be 20 words, very complex, very scattered. Now I want to summarize them in a more compact way, especially in the data visualization. So I tried this, and also the category of reason, one keyword, to put it in the model. And also I changed this model to Mistral 7B. It is a test for this model. And the rest of the code almost the same, but I add some more columns. Okay, to process. Like I said, every time when I first try the model, I try only 10 records or 1 page of the websites. Okay, so I get a lot of response and also the results from the local model. Eventually, you can see that the quality in general is similar, but later in the visualization, you are going to see there's no error code about error information about entity name. That is improvement. And you can see now the sanction reason. Let's try to check also the sanction reason. The sanction reason in the previous one, you see, is not very organized. But here, you can see it is more structured, the response, like the violation to what and the failure to what. Okay, and category of the reason. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it can already summarize to a more compact way for me to understand which is a category. So reason is a long paragraph, but category is much shorter. I would expect to summarize only to one word, but believe me, I tried, but the result is not so good. Because sometimes even one word, it can use a separate dot or slash. So eventually it's not just one word. So if we want to refine the categorization, it needs more time and more design of the code. So yeah, now I have the new categorical stack. Let's see what it shows. Yeah, I think it's much better. Okay, so I have these different categories. It's not perfect. We can still work on it. But at this part, I think we can have a more compact one. Because, for example, like here, in here, this is April 2022. The most find reason is for transparency and cleanliness. I think you can get the insight from this data visualization. And I also tried to group by the first word of the category, because I think this is too many words. I want to see more compact version. Yes, just by reorganize the data frame, show it in the graph, you can get it. For example, like let's say anti-money laundering and transparency. I think sometimes if you only see just one keyword, this categorization could mean something for your operational need and for your understanding. Okay, dynamic scatter plot is like before, but I changed the layout of the graph. But you can see here, let me quick run through. You see these names are all company names. At least from what we see, there is no very obvious error code or individual name. So this is a huge improvement. But as I said, if we needed to actually detail in very detail to compare both process, different ways, different models, different results, we need a very detailed descriptive data. But at this point, I think this project already gets some very useful insight. So if I would like to choose to improve, I will improve on this version and use the Mistral 7B model. And you can see here the monthly trend is like before. Yeah. And also the yearly trend. Yeah. One thing I want to share with you is that during the trial of this code of the graph, sometimes the system does not organize the data in a sequential way. You need to pay attention to it. If that happens, just check the code and make sure that you see sort some functions to sort, to group based on your need or user case. Okay, I wish this video is useful. Today I do not run it with the local LLM Studio, but if you want to see the real-time processing, I'm going to make another video to explain. I wish this is useful for you, at least to let you know with ChatGPT and also VS Code and also LLM Studio in local environment, you can already build some very useful project based on the publicly available data for you to get data insight and better visualize the data. Of course, based on this, you can implement many algorithms to do the prediction, to the regression, and so on. Wish you had a fun time, and see you next time. Bye-bye. Everyone, welcome to my channel again. Today I'm going to present you a project that I have successfully run in my local environment to build the AI agents and let them talk with each other. First of all, the tools I'm going to use, first of all, is LLM Studio. So with LLM Studio, you can download the model that you want to test and also to load it and to start the server. So to let the VS Code module to actually access to the local server and interact with the large language model that you prefer. Then, of course, we need the Visual Studio software installed so that you can run the Python code very easily. And the last and most important thing is that the AutoGen. AutoGen is a package, and also the I think a package is the right name because I'm going to import in the Python environment. This AutoGen is I think developed by Microsoft and is very useful for me to actually build this conversation program between different agents. So you need to pay attention to two parts. The first part is LLM Studio page. It will tell you how AutoGen can interact with LLM Studio. It is very in detail. You can test all the code, of course. The second part is about group chat. Group chat is actually more advanced. So if you check this page of the LLM Studio, it gives the example of two agents chats. So it's just two agents talking back and forth. But if you are talking about the group chat, actually the group chat will invite multiple agents to interact with each other. Okay, so I invite you to check these documents. It will be very useful for you to test the code. So let's come to the code part. From the basic, I just mimic what the document says. So first of all, I set up two models. Okay. So if you set, for example, this Llama refers to this Llama model, and also the URL key is the local LLM Studio. You can find it, and also the API key is LLM Studio. Okay, so basically setting up the different model will be useful when the agents will link to these models. And you can see here the second part is to from the AutoGen import conversable agents. This part is actually defining the different agents and which model it will use. So for me, I always use only one model. But if you want one agent to use one model, the other use another one, it is I think is possible, but you need more configurations of LLM Studio and so on. Okay, so basically at this moment, in my LLM Studio, I chose the Mistral model, but here I leave it like this. It can run because I think LLM Studio will recognize this kind of link directly without actually checking which model you are referring to, because actually the server is working with one model. So when you link to the server, it will work. Okay, so this is the code that you need to run the conversation. It will produce a chat results. Okay, so who will start the conversation? Jack will start the conversation, and it will talk with Emma, and the starting message is Emma, tell me a joke. Max terms will define maximum of the conversation passage. Is like if the maximum is 2, actually you have you see here you have 1, 2, 3, 4. I think terms, one term, two terms. One term is one back and forth. Two terms is in total 2 back and forth. Yeah. So you can see here the result is very good. Emma, tell me a joke, and Emma starts to tell a joke. Okay, then Jack says, "That was a great joke. I'm glad joke. It brought a smile to your face as well." Then Emma, I absolutely agree. So they're actually doing this conversation, right? You can check and test by yourself. I think the more you test, you can find the different results. Okay, so at this point, we have mimic the official example and test it with LLM Studio. This is okay. So I want to go to another example, which I tested. To actually, I think if we want to apply this package of AutoGen to other use cases, we need to have it in mind. For example, for me, I would really like different agents to build a financial analysis team to actually tell me if the stock is underpriced or overpriced, and if I should buy it or not. I think there are many examples on YouTube. You can also check, but here, okay, I just test what's my initial construction of this team, and to let them talk as a group. So this code, at the first part, I also define the different model, but now I'm more specific. I want to define the Mistral model that I'm using. So just to make sure that I understand the whole picture. The other two, I leave it here, but it does not make any impact. If you want, you can delete it. Okay, so about the agents. First of all, I created more agents. I create a team head of the team. The team head will do a lot of job. I just describe them all here. I think my code is correct, but if I'm wrong, feel free to mention it. And here I actually describe the job it will do. It will be the leader of the team of stock analysts. You instruct the general analytical framework and ask analysts to process data and give investment strategy and suggestions. In the end, you combine opinions from both data analysts and the news analyst. Okay, in this part, I think the better you define the agent's role, the better it will run and get results in the later stage. So I also have analyst on data, analyst on news. So basically, one will check the data of the stock, okay, financial data. I did not specify, but if it is recommended that you specify in a more detailed way. I also ask it to actually analyze trend, plot a line graph, and so on. Then about the analysis on news, I ask it to check the news and also give some summary and also provided the recommendation. So in the end, I want the team head to summarize. So go to the next part. The chat will initiate from the team head to the analysis on data, team head to analysis on news. Okay, so let's check the results. Maximum turn is 2, so I expect that there will be 2 back and forth. So yeah, the message is analyze Apple stock. Okay. So basically, the team head actually first talk to the analyst on data, give some feedback. I think this was the results we get from the model itself, because it was trained on massive data sets. So actually, the model actually figure out this by itself. I think it have to be not 100% accurate. So, but you can see here it structured this information, I think, very well. You can see historical stock price, earning per share, and eventually it gave the conclusion that a solid long-term investment opportunity. Okay, it looks very good, and you can also try in your local environment to check the whole response. Okay, also if you check the LLM Studio, because you are running your server, you can see the conversation and all the log. It is very satisfactory, because previously I tried, if I remember correctly, is the UI version of the AutoGen. Actually, the configuration of the different agents and so on, of course you can do it in the browser, in the web browser, but it's always meet some problem. For example, if the prompt is just one word, and the feedback is just 2 words, it's not working. But in VS Code with Python, Jupyter Notebook, it works well. Okay, so let's see. First of all, here, the first response from analyst to team head. Oh, okay, then team head says, actually the team head is working like the furthermore. He actually tells the analyst on data to pay more attention on the market developments and so on. So it's not like, okay, I get your advice and I summarize your advice and that's it. Okay, it actually want to dig more, to explore more with the analyst. So yes, analyst also give additional comments about add additional information about the stock price, investment potential. So actually it stops here. Okay, so when I reach this point, I realize that actually there is not another feedback. So the conversation is complete, but if I want to get the conclusion from the team head, it does not give. So I need to configure either the conversation terms, or I change the description of the team head and make sure it works better. Okay, so is still prompt engineering as a basis. So the better you engineer the prompt, the better you get the result. So the system stop here and goes to the next conversation. Is the team head to the analyst on news. Okay, so at this point I realize it's a separate chat. Okay, so it asks the analyst on news to check. Okay, and it says I'm a language model, don't have real-time access, of course. So it actually it gave some general analysis based on the information it has. For example, like this information is dated in 2022. So from the pure conversational point of view, I think it's working. Yeah. Then the team head tells to the analyst to news, in addition to the analysis above, it is crucial to consider both quantitative and qualitative factors. In my opinion, this is not a very necessary, because I would expect the team head to combine these two parts, because the analyst on news is going to focus on the qualitative part, and the analyst on data is going to focus on the quantitative part. So that was my original design. But okay, so it asks this. I think in the future I need to better refine my prompt and the description of the role. Okay, so analyst on news says, okay, it actually does the work it asks to. Not only analyzing the news, but also to give some comments about the data and also examine the KPI and so on. Uh, and also it did the competitive landscape, management efficiency, and the industrial trend, comments. Okay, so actually the analyst on the news is doing the job for the team head. You can see here the team head should do the final comment by combining both the analysis. You can develop a well strategy. Okay. Okay, but eventually you see this one, the model becomes very prudent because it suggests that you should consult another financial advisor. So technically speaking, it is not doing its job. Okay, but you can see this flow of conversation is going. So you realize there should be some more adjustments, either with the prompt, with the max terms, job description here. System message, I call it as job description. Okay. So then I further refined the code. I tried the user proxy agent because I consider user proxy agent is that the user inputs will actually influence the conversation. So I set up this user proxy parameter according to the documentation of the AutoGen. So you can see here, there are some information here, like a name and so on. So then now I start a group chat. So the group chat is going to actually involve multiple agents here. For example, I have 3 agents: the team head, analyst on data, analyst on news, and also I have max in around 6 because I think there are too many agents. So maybe I need a longer conversation to get a meaningful result. In the meantime, I'm trying to input my prompt. Okay, so it's not like previous version. Actually, I write the prompt in the code. Now I want the user input, so I input the prompt. Okay, the conversation starts. You see the user proxy is the user. Me will start the conversation. And conversation to the manager, and so the manager will go to the group chat in this sequence. Okay, let's see. Okay, the system take my input as the user proxy to user chat manager conversation, and then analyst on data. Okay, says okay, I'm doing the blah 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 analysis. Okay. And yeah, it talks to the chat manager in summary. Okay. Amazon stock, blah blah blah. Okay, it does not give a very precise conclusion because it says you need to do further analysis. So it's not working very well. And then it says that it is important to keep in mind the past performance is not a passion. I think this is like a disclaimer from the banks, investment banks. Yeah, it's quite interesting. Yeah, so then the group chat select the speaker field to resolve the next speaker's name. I think there are some issues with the naming of the agents. So if you see this kind of message, I suggest you to actually check. Actually, the next part the conversation goes to analysis of the news. Analyst of the news. It says, yes, you're probably right. It's important to remember historical data. Okay, so it actually takes the message of the disclaimer, so it does not do much job. Okay, and then it says absolutely providing clear. Okay, it's like not so useful, right? Is a writing disclaimer. So at this point, the group chat actually goes, but I suppose there should be more definitions, like either in my prompt or in the structure of the team and of the job description, right? To configure better these agents. But as a start, I think I would say this is okay. Okay, this model works, and I need to further refine to actually do the jobs that I intended to have them done for me. Yeah, so this example stops here. Okay, so just a quick wrap up. You can do 2 agents back and forth conversation, or you can have a group conversation. Okay, so the next example for the models, the definition are the same. I did not change. Actually, you can see, like the previous example, I ask the analyst on data to plot, to analyze the trend. Of course, it cannot. Okay, so I need to further work on it to see if I use some resource code to let the agent act on to draw the graph based on the data, or I should just should test the different alternatives. But at this moment, I keep on going. So the job description, actually, I did some improvements, some adjustments, and I'm inviting a coder and a tester. So, in my opinion, if you are going to invite a coder and tester to a conversation, and you want them to write the code and test code, of course, there are many use cases that you can check on YouTube. But at this moment, if you only define it here, it will not work. I'm going to show you. So this part is the same. We are going to have a user proxy. Yeah. So just a reminder. Whenever you see there are some comments here, you can stop the video and check. Some of the comments I leave the error message just for future check. For example, the original proxy code actually it asks for the Docker environment. I have never used it, so I want to skip it. Okay, so I need to set here user Docker force. If you want to refine this code, I think first of all you need to understand the document of autogen of a specific function, and if you have some difficulty to modify the code, you can ask ChatGPT to help you. But remember, ChatGPT has limited capability. So the next part is still the group chat, but here now we have the coder and tester. Okay, next round 6. I manually insert my prompt. Okay, and here I think you need to pay attention because the system will recognize the whole part. The message should have 2 components. Okay, a complete one, not only like this, the text information. You can try because you are going to see the error message. So I'm going to start the chat again. Okay, analyze Tesla stock. Okay, the log actually says group chat select speaker failed to resolve the next speaker name. Yeah, so there is some error, but here the team head starts to ask the analyst on data. Can you provide me the stock price, share the recent news about Tesla, and ask the analyst on news to share the news on Tesla. Both of them are also working. Okay, so first of all, it promised that it will actually work and get the information. Yeah, also the news analyst on news, and the team has a based on information. I would like to remember buying Tesla stock at current due to the strong financial from the earnings reports. I would say I don't see much data here for the team head to analyze. For here, the news, yeah, the news is positive. Okay, surpassed the expectation earning. Okay, so it makes sense. But the capability of individual agents, like I said before, we need to enhance their capability. So this is a part of the conversation. Actually, the channel manager actually talks to team head. Team head talks to analyst. Then we go to the next part. Is the team head to the channel manager. Okay, give a response, right? It's very structured. I like it. Introduction. This is which company, fundamental analysis, valuation multiples. I think if you further modify the code, you can get quasi professional report from this model. Okay, then you can see here they also did technical analysis and also news analysis. I mean, the accuracy, because it's not a link to the third-party API, not getting the news, I think is not 100% reliable. But the next attempt in the future, I would try to use the Y Finance or use the Google News Google News package or API to get such information to the model and let it analyze. Okay, so at this moment, we are always utilizing the knowledge base of the local large language model. Okay, so pay really attention to this. If you try to have fun and to test the model, yeah, it's okay. But to really use it, be very, very careful. Then here, okay. See, this is different from the previous one, previous examples, because we have more agents, and actually we have modified some of the this job description of the of each agent. So you can the result has some improvements, I would say. And then we go to the next part. Actually, the team head. Now it's your turn to play a role. Which of the following roles would you like to assume? And what instruction or question would you have for team members? Yeah. So it will select them and provide the instruction to ask questions accordingly. Okay, so yeah, now analysis of data says diversification is an important thing and so on. This is quite general discussion now. And the coder said the manager, yes, diversification is okay, but the coder is not doing its job. So there must be some problem with my setting. Okay, In summary, it suggests a diversification. I mean, the primary job of the coder is to code. Okay, so actually, okay, let's see here. The coder starts speaking again. Well said. Okay, I'm not sure which agent actually talks to this agent before because I don't see it here. Anyway, you can do different tests to check the workflow. There is also a very clear documentation of the autogen. I recommend you to read it. Okay, because I'm also still learning. So in the next part, I actually make my prompt very, very complicated because I see the result is not so well. I say analyze Tesla stock starting from the team head to get a general plan of the task, then analyze on data to discuss with coder and tester to run a functional code to get analyze stock data. Let me see if I have a chunked version. Yeah, it's this one. It's easier to read. Analyze Tesla stock starting from the team head to get a general plan of the task. Then analyze on data discusses with coder and the tester to run a functional code to get analyze stock data and financial data and to give advice to the team head. Then blah blah blah. So now I give a very, very clear instruction to the group. Let's see how it goes. So it takes the prompt, okay, and pass it to the chat manager. Okay, and the team head starts to talk back to the chat manager that I'm a team head. So yeah, how these agents will work. Okay, it's very well structured, right? So it first of all says that it will assign the task based on the expertise of the team member, 3 team members, very, very well organized. Okay, and says using tools like Bloomberg, Y-Finance, Fred. Here I do not provide the Fred API or the Bloomberg API, so this is a very good assumption, but not very realistic for me to implement a free version on the local environment. Then once they complete their analysis, I'll combine the insight and give a report. Yeah, it's very good. So the report, the outline of the report, it also describes is very comprehensive. I like it. But you see here, group chat select speaker failed to resolve the next speaker's name. This is because the speaker selection call returned nothing. Okay. So I think this problem repeats in the future. I need to check did I misspell the name of the agents, or there is other problem. So let's keep on going. The next part, actually, I think there is another solution to this kind of missing next speaker. It will pick another speaker based on the chat. There must be some logic behind. If you want, you can further check. So basically, now analysis on data, I think is based on the plan. It starts to check to talk with the manager. Okay. The team leader, I fully understand the analytical tone and follow the objective. So there is a kind of mix up because analysis on data is not a team leader. Okay. understands the job and starts to work as a team leader. So, but some of the part like this part, yeah, you are actually repeating the previous conversation. Not very useful. Okay, so now the team head to the manager, the team leader, my preview goal is blah blah blah, define blah blah blah, ongoing monitoring. Okay, sorry. Yeah, here. It describes its goal and so on, but not very concise, not very useful to actually deeper with the conversation. Then failed to resolve next speaker again. So still this analysis on data chat with the chat manager. Okay. So it did what was already there, and he is taking responsibility of the team leader. Okay. But from the information of the step, you can see there are also some errors. Because here you see from point 1 to 5, then from 1 to again. So I think there is some problem with interaction with local LLM, because the description of the task is too complicated, so the system cannot handle it. I see this kind of error sometimes before during the conversation with Mistral model. It will start to hallucinate with different code. Does not make any sense. Okay, so you see here, it tries to make up a lot of numbers, but they do not have any meaning. So at that point, the local server starts continues to run. I manually stopped it. Okay, so you see the error message here. This is part of the server log. You can see. I take a screenshot. The server log actually shows infinite numbers. Okay, so that basically says this project has to be stopped. We need to change either the model, either the structure of our agents. Later I try another way. I do not manually insert the prompt in this window. I actually define the message to feed to the system. Yeah, I think this is another way to feed the message to the system. But somehow it actually only gets okay, it asks my input if I remember correctly, but you can try. This is not a very big issue. You can either write your prompt here, or you just manually input here. Okay. So at this stage, it starts a group chat again. Okay. Select speaker field. Okay. So at first, it gives some comments. Okay, so but here we have some improvements. I will now step aside. And let team head handle the analysis with using historical data. It's not 100% correct because I do not want the team head to do anything with historical data. So you can see there are more complicated configuration with a more complex conversation. That will be needed. So to the next part, let's see the team head to chat manager. Okay, to provide the analysis, I will do a combination of formula and technical analysis. Okay, it's good. both a data analyst and news analyst. Okay, it's going well, and it starts to fundamental analysis. Okay, it tells you part of the information, and also some subjective conclusion here. But the problem is that the two analysts have not said anything. Yeah, so this is I don't know how to define a hallucination or what. Here you can see the team head to the chat manager. Okay, disclaimer, blah blah blah. This is kind of a standard term again. So representation. Okay, subject to what? Okay, the group chat select speaker field again. Okay, so if it failed, actually the talking, I think is like the LLM one-side output. It does not say who is speaking. So I will leave this kind of issue in the future to resolve. And at this moment, yeah, this is actually one of the results of the server log. It shows a very messy picture. So just to wrap up, we have some issue remain. For example, this error code and insufficient assignments of the job to different agents. And in the end, I think we can improve in the future. Like I said, the prompt, the agent's job description. I see it like this, and also the detailed configuration of the usage of AutoGen. I think we will find also tons of example on the website. The problem is that most of the example on the AutoGen documentation is based on a OpenAI API or other structure, which you have to link to the API of the online LLM model. But if you are going to do with a local LLM Studio, you always need to do some tests to change the code to adapt to the local large language model. Yeah. I wish you find this tutorial useful and happy coding. If you have any question, feel free to leave a comment, and I'll reply, and also to have a discussion with you. So let's advance in the AI agents creation. Have a nice day. Bye bye.